All right, so the objective is that you will be able to solve inequalities in one variable at 80% accuracy or higher. So the success criteria is like your guide for what you'll be tested on. So how to be successful on the quiz is, can you use inequalities to model real world problems with a range of solutions? So can you figure out keywords like when we say it has to be more than this number, what symbol is that? Or if it has to be no less than, right? Things like that. What symbols are those? Can you solve inequalities just like you would solving an equation? Can you remember to flip the inequality sign only if multiplying or dividing by a negative on each side? And then can you graph your solution on a number line? All right, so all of these things you need to be able to do. You will be assessed on those things tomorrow. All right. Here's some videos that I've just gathered over the years about solving inequalities and translating those like phrases into inequality symbols. So check those out. And then of course I am recording today's lesson, which will go right in the slides. The practice is a little different. So far, all your assignments have been online. Now you have a worksheet. But the thing is that I don't accept paper submissions. All right, I don't want your germs. I want to mix your germs with someone else's germs and then give it back to you. So how that works, and we'll probably have more time to talk about it tomorrow. When you're actually working on your practice, I just want you to have the practice on day one, so you can start on it. But when you're finished with it, you're going to take a picture with your Chromebook. Super easy, takes like 20 seconds, and then you're uploading it to the link that's in Schoology. All right, so what I'm looking for is basically your work shown. All right, because if you don't have any work shown, then it's like an automatic 0. I'll upload the rubric and you'll see like how you're graded. All right, accuracy, I'm not grading you for accuracy because I do provide you the answer key. All right, so basically just looking for that you're showing work because you can check the answers with the answer key that's in the class. So that's what you're graded on, to make sure as you're going through the worksheet that you are showing work. If you're someone that likes to show work on a separate piece of paper, then make sure you're taking a picture of that paper and uploading it as well. All right, questions there? Just a reminder, if you have been unhappy with your recent quiz scores, that you do corrections on your own time. So I've talked about it before. I'm not going to spend too much class time on it, but just click the link for the instructions. It's in today's slides, on this slide right there. So just follow the instructions and let me know if you have questions. Those corrections do fall under the September 3rd deadline for the grading period. So the deadline for late work from the blue folders is due September 3rd. So if you've been slacking, you do still have time to make that up. Just no exceptions after September 3rd. Now, there are some kids that have like extenuating circumstances. So if they've been absent for like 5 days because they were sick with COVID, I don't know, something like that, then I do give them 5 additional days, or like however many days that they were absent on top of this date, right? But no more than that. Questions there? All right, tutoring does start this week, so Thursdays, unless otherwise said. So you can come and do corrections during that time if you want. I can help you, or just any other help. Take a quiz that you missed. That would be the time. Here's the schedule for the assessments this week. And we are still having a binder check on Friday. We were supposed to have the topic test, like your end of unit test on Friday, but that's going to be pushed to next week on Thursday. All right, so we need more time for that, but we'll still have a binder check. Usually that's a good grade, unless you completely aren't keeping your stuff. And then that should fluff it up a little bit. Questions there? All right, so then back to your note sheet. Let's go over the vocab section. And there's two sections, so you're supposed to do both. Maybe you guys didn't see that. But we'll start with this top one. All right. Very nice. You have a pass from the office? All right, so for matching these, it's really just getting you in the habit of those key phrases and making sure you're not confusing them with other key phrases. So I think it's easiest to start with column B and match it with the ones from column A. So 3 less than a number n is greater than 9. Which of these matches that phrase? Number 3. All right, that is correct. Don't get confused, like less than also means subtraction sometimes. And in this case, it does. We didn't have a lesson on word problems, but you know, what I usually tell my students is when they see than, that's a switch word, right? So when it says 3 less than, that means instead of doing 3 minus, it's minus 3. And the other side would be n, and so on. Make sense? And then this greater than is the greater than symbol, which matches over here. All right, good. What about x is less than -5? Good. That one's pretty straightforward. This time less than means that symbol. So good. The length of a fish is less than 3 feet.
5.
Good. The length of a fish is less than 3 feet. The speed limit is less than or equal to 55 miles per hour.
2.
Good. Now that one's a new symbol, right? Less than or equal to, so that's why it has a little line underneath it. So does that mean if you're going 55, are you speeding? If you're going exactly 55? No, you're not speeding. If you're going 56, are you speeding? Yes. So that's 55 is included in the answer. You can go 55. And then this one's already drawn for you, must be over 42 inches tall to ride. So over is a really good signal word. If you have trouble with that one, over, like whether it's greater than or less than, just think about it logically. If you have to be over 42 inches, does that mean you're more than 42 inches or less than that? More than also means greater than, right? So just those signal words. Questions there? All right, so let's scroll down and do this part together. I saw a lot of people had it blank. All right, so let's do this part together. There is a mistake somewhere though, and I think it's this one down here. So f less than 3 should actually be f less than -3. Right? Sorry, should have told you that in advance, but that's the only mistake. All right, let's start with, last hour we started with column B first. So let's start with column A and see if that goes better. So which of these number lines matches P is greater than 3? The third one. All right, I would agree. So these number lines, you're going to see at least like 3 of them on your upcoming, I don't want to call it a quiz, on your upcoming assessment. All right, you're going to have at least 3 number lines, so you need to get comfortable with them. So if it says P is greater than 3, if I translated that, it would be something that looks like this. So that means you need to have a circle on the 3. And since it's greater than, is it going to be an open or a closed circle? Open. So when it's this or this, we have an open circle. I'll write this in my margin too. So greater than or less than, it's an open circle. Greater than or equal to or less than or equal to would be a closed circle. All right, so good. And the arrow points to numbers that are greater than 3, right? So 4, 5, 6, and so on are all greater than 3. Make sense? All right. What about G is greater than or equal to -4? All right, good. Greater than or equal to, so look something like this. That means a closed circle and pointing in the direction of numbers bigger than -4, right? Because the alligator mouth points to the bigger number, right? The number is bigger than -4. What about number 8? B is less than or equal to 2. Good. Again, B is less than or equal to 2. All right, on the 2, closed circle, pointing at numbers smaller than 2. Number 9, this one might have been a little tricky. The quotient of R and 4 is greater than 2. So I'll do the work for number 9 over here. What does quotient mean? What operation? So it's going to be R divided by 4, because order matters with division. So it's the first one divided by the second one, R divided by 4. And it's greater than 2. So this R needs to be isolated. What's opposite of dividing by 4? So do that on each side. What happens to the 4s on the left side? And then we have R greater than 2 times 4, which is good. So then what one matches for number 9? Good. All right, and then process of elimination. This last one matches with the 4th number line. And yes, there was an error, so just fix it. All right, it should be F less than -3. Questions there? All right, so then next page, we'll do some examples. All right, so like I mentioned before in the success criteria, I kind of try to hide some important information in the success criteria to help you with your assessments, right? But you basically are solving inequalities just like you do normal equations, all right? You just treat that inequality symbol like an equal sign. You just rewrite it all the way through. The only time you flip it is when? The only time you flip the inequality sign is, all right, good. So when we are doing these operations, pay attention when we start doing stuff on each side. If we multiply or divide by a negative, that's the only time we change the sign. Understood? So what would be the first step if I'm treating this just like an equation? What do I do first? Distribute. All right, distribute if necessary is always the first step. So distribute that -4. What's -4 times 3x? Good. And then -4 times -1. Positive or negative? So put +4. All right, and then bring everything else down. Questions there? You getting better at distributing? All right, now, next step is to do what? So my like terms and my like terms are negative 12x and what? And a positive 6x. If it helps you to circle them, do that. I do that so I can see what symbol is in front of them. So what's negative 12 plus 6? Negative 6x. Good. And then bring everything else down. So negative 6x plus 4 greater than or equal to 16. All right, now isolate that variable. What do I do first? Subtract 4 on each side. Do I need to flip the sign right now? No, why don't I have to flip it? All right, all I did was subtract, right? So you only flip it when you multiply or divide by negative on both sides. Since I just subtracted, we don't have to flip it right now. That's a good thing to pay attention to as you're going through this when you're doing stuff on both sides. So what's 16 minus 4? 12. One more thing I need to do, which is divide by negative 6 on each side. Anything special about that? Yes?
You have to flip the sign.
All right, now we have to flip the sign. So it was greater than or equal to, now it is less than or equal to. And then what's 12 divided by negative 6? Negative 2. So if you need to highlight that, go ahead, that's what I would do. Since we are dividing by negative on each side, this sign flips. All right, now we're almost done. We just need to graph our solution. So I'm gonna box this up because this is part of my answer. All right, but now we just need to make a number line. Now, when you have to make the number line yourself, it's really easy. You just want the solution to be part of your number line. So since it's x less than or equal to negative 2, I can put negative 2 in the middle. Numbers that are bigger than negative 2 go to the right. So if I'm counting upwards, it would be, and then 0. Yep. And then if I'm counting backwards, what number goes here? Negative 3. And then if I'm squeezing, negative 4. All right, now, am I going to have an open or a closed circle on the negative 2? Closed, right? Because it's included in the answer, so it's closed. And then pay attention to what's going on here. Which is the bigger number, the x or the negative 2?
The negative 2.
So that means my x, what I need to highlight for my arrow, needs to be smaller than negative 2. So does that mean I'm going to the left or to the right? All right, so go to the left. All right, and the reason I phrase it that way, like I know some teachers have said, you know, just memorize it. If it's less than, always go to the left. All right, that's not always true, because I could write it like this. I could write negative 2 greater than or equal to x. And aren't these saying the same thing? All right, they are. The symbol is different, but negative 2 is still the bigger number. So just think about it. What numbers are smaller than negative 2? And then highlight that way. Make sense? All right, so in your workbook, I forget what page it's on. I think it's 14, I'm not sure. But you'll do example 1. One of you, so 1A, what was the first step? Distribute, and you do have to distribute in this problem. What did you get when you distributed? So negative 6x minus 6 is correct. If you have a sign error, make sure you fix it, because that would really change your answer. All right, and then bring down everything else, less than 10. What's the next step for solving? Good. So add 6 to each side. It cancels out 3 6s over here. We have negative 6x. Do I need to flip the sign?
No.
All right, no. 10 plus 6, which is, all right, one more thing I have to do, which is, all right, do I have to flip the sign? Yes. All right, I divided by a negative. So now that less than is going to be greater than, and then you probably needed a calculator for this, but what did you get? A negative 2.7. All right, but yes. All right, questions there? All right, that's part of your answer. The other part is to graph it. So we want our answer to be included on our number line. That number is near like -2, so I'll start there. If I'm counting forward, what numbers go to the right? So like -1, and to the left would be good. Now make sure you put the dot in the right place. Is -2 like -2.7 to the left of the -2 or to the right? To the left, because it's almost -3, right? So it's going to be right here. Is it an open or closed circle? Definitely an open circle. And then is it going to point to the left or to the right? Think about it. X is the bigger number here, right? So which way are the numbers bigger than the -2.7? To the right. All right. If it helps, like by plugging in numbers, go ahead. Like if I plug in 0, is 0 greater than -2.7? Yes. All right. So if you need to plug in a number on your number line to see, you'll do that. Questions there? All right, we're going to scroll down and do the other one real quick. All right, so part B, I'm going to erase this so everyone have it. First step in part B is to do what? What did you get when you distributed? Good, greater than 1. What do I get rid of first? And I get rid of it by do that on each side. On the left side, we have -4x. Do I need to flip the sign right now? All right, not right now. What's 1 minus 8? One more thing I have to do, which is divide by -4 on each side. Do I need to flip the sign? Yes. So this side now becomes less than, and I don't have a calculator on me, but what's 7 divided by 4? 1.75. All right, if I was making a number line, and we're going to do this real quick so that you can pack up, I would probably do it around 1, 2, 3, and then to the left would be like 0, -1. And 1.75 is almost 2, right? So it's like right here, open or closed circle, and pointing to the left or to the right. X is less than, remember? So it should go to the left. Numbers that are smaller than 1.75. Questions there? All right.